Hi everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live today. My name is Alyssa and I'm the Marketing Manager here at Katoomba. And today I'm really excited to be back with Kirsten from Savvy Salon Marketing. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. I'm so glad that we're here to chat again.
Yes, same. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. So for those of you that are watching but don't know, we are now doing monthly digital marketing Facebook Lives. And that's because we know how important digital marketing is to the hair and beauty industry, but also that we know that there are so many facets to digital marketing and it can be really hard to know what to focus on. But also if you are undertaking activities, kind of how to make the most of them and make sure that they're really benefiting your business. So every month there'll be a different topic that we kind of talk about and focus on, and so we hope you'll be joining us for those. And for this one, it is going to be all about Kirsten's top tips for using Instagram. So I know that she's got 6 tips for you guys today, and so we're going to run through those. But if any of you have any questions as we're going through, please do pop them in the comments below, and I'm sure that one of us will be able to answer that for you and hopefully help you out with Instagram. Cool. All right. So Kirsten, top tip number 1 for using Instagram.
Okay, so that was feedback there. The first 2 or 3 top tips are more foundational pieces. But the very first one is really being clear about your goal or your objective for Instagram. And the same is true for any social media platform. But what is it that you're trying to achieve out of Instagram? So we all know that Instagram is a very visual platform and we tell our stories through images, predominantly being still images or video. We do obviously have the text option, but it's primarily a visual-based platform. So with that sort of in the backdrop, what are you trying to achieve from the platform itself? Is it brand awareness? Is it sales? Is it bookings? Is it promoting something, educating people, inspiring them? What is it that you actually want to achieve? Notwithstanding that you're trying to provide value to your audience, but once you know what your objective is, that then sort of starts to dictate the type of content that you're then going to start to post. So very simple. Tip number 1, what do you want to achieve through this platform?
That is such a good tip. And it's true, like you said, it's like social media, but it's like with any type of marketing, really, there, like I just said, there are so many different types of digital marketing. And then even when you just look at social media, there are so many platforms. And so you really do need to decide, like you have to choose, right? You can't do everything. So
that's right.
That's a great tip. Yeah, because Instagram might not be right for you. It might be right for a ton of other businesses, but it's got to be right for you.
That's right, and that's where salons are lucky. We do have a lot of good content, so we can do before and afters. We've got images of the salon, images of staff. They can be people working on clients. It can be happy clients. So there's a lot of nice visual imagery that we can use through Instagram. So generally it is good for salon owners, but as you say, it's not necessarily going to be the platform for every business.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Right. So if they've decided Instagram is for them, what is your second tip?
So second tip, obviously, and it seems like a bit of a no-brainer, but it's set your profile up properly. So there's not a lot of space to set up your profile, so why not maximize the space that you've got? So the first thing, of course, is the username. And often I see the username of an Instagram profile is not the name of the salon. And so I don't know why that is, but I would recommend that your username is the name of your salon. If it's taken or you can't have it for some reason, then find a way to make that work so it's obvious that it is your salon. So when you've chosen your username, the next thing you need to look at is the branded picture. So that's the little profile picture in the circle to the left. And my advice to you is to use your logo. So if you've got the name of your salon and you've got the logo of your salon, if people have seen you on your website or they've seen you on Facebook, they're more likely to recognize you. And it gives that sense of consistency when they come into Instagram. So that's the username, the branded picture. Then you get to choose what category you're in. And for us as salon owners, it's generally beauty, cosmetic, and personal care. If you're a beauty wholesaler, there's a category for beauty wholesaler. So whatever your business is, you choose the category that most fits. Sometimes there's one that you don't actually find what you are, so you've just got to go with the next best and hope that you can get something that's as close to you. Then you've got 3 lines in which you can fill in text. And I have a little bit of a formula. It's not the be-all, end-all formula, but it's something that I use for myself, and it's something that I use for my clients, and it seems to be working quite well. So I figured I would share it here. So in that first line, I think it's quite nice to have a tagline if you've got one. And I tend to put that tagline in caps. And I know that, it can be seen as shouting, but once you get your headline in caps and then the 2 lines underneath, it's just seen as a headline as opposed to shouting. So it could be something like Beauty Made Simple, and that's taken from a salon that I work with. And their tagline on their website, on their Facebook, on everywhere that they put their marketing messages, their tagline is Beauty Made Simple. So again, there's that consistency there, and we've got that in caps. Then in the line underneath, what I recommend and what I do with my salons is that we talk about the services and the main services. So it's not trying to list everything that you offer. It's not a time to be promotional. It's just a time to say, hey, we do advanced therapy. That's it. Or we do facials, brows, and hair removal, and that's it. So it's just kind of a headline so that people go, oh, okay, that's the salon for me. They do advanced therapy. I'm interested. Or not, because actually I want to have some other sort of service. So it's just letting people know the top line, what you do. Then under that, I think it's quite nice to just then give a little bit of insight into who you are as a salon. So for the salon that I'm talking about, who has Beauty Made Simple, we say providing beauty services to men and women in Milford for over 20 years. So it's nice and succinct. We know it's for men and women. We know where it's situated, and we know how long they've been operating. You don't have to say how long you've been operating, but that's nice and succinct, because 20 years means that they've been around for a long time. So there's some credibility going on there. And often, men are the forgotten audience sometimes in this, and we're often targeting women, but actually men are quite an untapped audience. So it's quite nice to include them if they are a target market of yours. So that's kind of your profile, and then you might want to use some emojis just to kind of jazz it up and reinforce a few points. So yeah, if you've got your username, your category, your logo, your tagline, something about your services, and then a little bit of a sentence about you, that's a really, really good profile, and people get a really good understanding of who you are once they land on your Instagram page.
Cool. Awesome. And then next, tip number 3.
So tip number 3 is being clear about your theme, or making sure that you have a really nice theme for your Instagram profile. So when I say theme, I mean the look and feel, or the visual identity of how you come across when someone lands on your page. So when they land on your page and they've looked at your profile, you then move down to the images, and it's in what we call a grid view. And so the grid is just, the 3 images across 3 rows of generally 9 you can see on your screen at one time. And so how do they look? So sometimes you may go to an Instagram profile and it's just got before and after, before and after, before and after, before and after, and that's fine, but there's no real theme going on there. And so something that's quite nice to do is to have some sort of color theme going on. And so for me, I'm a big fan of pink, and my brand colors are pink. And so if you go to my Instagram page, I find things that are pink, and if I have an image that's not pink, then I will overlay it with a filter. And so you just get a sense of my theme and my branded colors when you go there, but also the theme can come through in the types of images and the types of quotes and the types of content that you post. So you don't always have to put filters across everything, but you wouldn't want to necessarily have what can be classed as an uncoordinated look. So with any good branding, you have a brand look and feel, whether it's your website, your Facebook, your a marketing brochure or whatever. Instagram is no different. So And it just gives a nice experience for people when they land on your Instagram page.
Yeah. Any tips for, I guess, maintaining that consistency? Like you mentioned filters, but is there kind of like, I don't know, like templates, like ways to kind of make it really easy to be on brand all the time? Because it's so important to have that consistency so people recognize you really quickly.
Yes. Yeah. If it is easier to create and maintain a theme if you're using a graphics package, for example, Canva. And I know a lot of therapists and salon owners use Canva. And if you don't, Canva is a simple little graphics package that, it's pretty intuitive and pretty user-friendly.
Yeah.
So you can actually build templates. So it's almost like, for example, when I do a quote, I have a square and it's a particular shade of pink, and I have particular font style or writing style text. And every time I do a quote, I use that template. If I have a photo of a couple of women looking really happy, or somebody in a salon or whatever it might be, and it's a color image or black and white, I'll put a pink filter over it. Sometimes I might just be showcasing a salon and it could be a stock shot. Then I'll just find one that's pink. So it's just keeping that theme in the back of your mind, and then every time you are preparing an image to put up, does it reflect the theme that I'm trying to convey, and will it look consistent? So yes, and again, it's a bit like branding guidelines. If you have branding guidelines for your website or for your company, it's just following those branding guidelines and just setting guidelines for how you want Instagram to look.
Cool. Awesome. Cool.
Okay.
And so are we on to tip 4 now?
Yep. Tip number 4.
Yeah.
Tip number 4 is the same for any social media platform. It's plan your content. So once we know what we're trying to achieve, right, our objective, that kind of determines what content you're going to put out there. You've set your profile up properly, so people are expecting something related to that. And then you've got your theme. Your content then follows in underneath that. And I've talked about this in other Facebook Lives that we've done. You obviously predominantly want to provide value to your followers so that they'll keep following you and start engaging with you and maybe going a step further and becoming a customer of yours if they're not. But you need to understand every post that you do, who are you talking to? Are you talking to everybody, or are you talking to a segment of everybody? So you need to be really clear about that. Are you talking to current customers or clients, or are you talking to prospective customers or clients? So you just need to be really, really clear. And when you've got that sorted, you need to determine what's the message, or what do I want to convey? What story am I going to put out through this image and the text that goes with it? And I've said it before, one image, one post, or one post, one message. So you don't want a whole mixture of messages or 3 or 4 messages. You want to have one audience and one message, so it's nice and clear and succinct that who it's for and what you want to say. So that's that side of it. There's also the frequency side of it. And people often say to me, how often should I post? I feel like I need to post 3 times a day, every day. And that's a lot, and I haven't got time, and it's all very overwhelming. And I know that some people who are on here watching us today, they will post every day. Totally fine. If you've got the content and you've got the resources and you can do it, that's great. And as long as people are not being annoyed by all the content that you're putting out, and they won't be if it's value. But for some people who are starting out and feeling overwhelmed, 2 a week, 3 times a week, just decide how many times a week are you going to post content, and then also what's the timing of that content. So you might say, look, on a Wednesday and a Friday at 9 a.m, I'm making a post, and that's it. It's going out on those days. Then you check to see, is it actually resonating? Are people engaging with my content? If not, why not? And it might just be the time of day might not be the right thing. A lot of other factors that go into why people may not engage. But so planning your content, something that's really good to do is to get yourself a content calendar and try and plan your content at least a couple of weeks in advance, if not a month. And so you know you're going to be posting, say, twice a week. So that's 8 posts for the month. Why not build them and schedule them, and then you're done? So
yeah,
it's really just about being organized and making sure that you're staying true to your theme, true to your objectives, and true to providing value to the people that are following you.
Yeah, definitely. And that goal, the kind of setting that goal of how many posts a week, it really works. Like, I've had quite a bit of experience in the past of going, okay, well, this is quite overwhelming, we're not doing a great job, we're not consistent. And just by sitting down as a team and going, okay, no, it's just going to be 3 times a week, and you'll see how you go. It's really interesting, because you start doing it and then it gets easier and easier and easier, and you suddenly realize, actually, we've got way more content, actually let's amp it up to 5 times a week. And then it gets busier and you're like, actually, I could be doing multiple times a day. And it does evolve, and you become more comfortable and confident. And it's about just set that goal, make it easy, make it achievable at the beginning. Don't feel that you need to start with 5 posts a day. You don't.
That's right. And if you don't plan, the week gets away pretty quick. And before you know it, it's the end of the week, and then you think, I haven't done it. So obviously, plan.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, just grab a spreadsheet and just chuck the dates in and do it. There's already like calendars in Excel and stuff like that. They already kind of provide that. Yeah. So something as simple as that. It's just, it does really work. It makes you commit.
Yeah, it does.
Cool. All right. And tip number 5.
So tip number 5 is about using the Instagram formats to your advantage. So we've talked about posting, and there's about 7 different formats that you can choose from within the Instagram platform, and they are always changing and evolving. But as of today, these are the 7 that are out there. There's probably about 8 or 9 actually, but I chose the main 7. And it's just a matter of playing around with the different formats and figuring out what works for you. So what works for one salon doesn't actually always necessarily work for another salon. It's like anything to do with digital marketing. It's test, learn, and adjust. So obviously you've got posts that's in the grid view that we've talked about, and those can be static images, or they can be videos or slideshows of images. So then, so that's fine. That's the main thing that you'll generally do. But there's also then stories. Stories are really popular, and I find that people tend to go to stories as opposed to going to posts. And so stories, for those that don't know, sit at the top of your Instagram profile. They don't go into the feed, and they content that you don't necessarily want to have go into your main feed, and you don't want to necessarily have them there all the time. So stories will only last for 24 hours. So they're more about an announcement or some quick piece of information that you want to get across. And they're a place where you can have a bit of fun. So you can create little sort of videos and put music to it, and little stickers and glittery things and things that pop out, and that type of thing. So it's quite fun to do. But they're also good to point people to a post. If you've just posted a new post and it's something that's really important that you want people to see, it's just a way of nudging people and getting their attention, basically, and saying, come on over and have a look at that post. So that's stories. And so the next format after that is story highlights. So the story highlights actually sit underneath your profile that we talked about and above the grid view posts. So they're the little round circles, if you like, that sit across an Instagram profile. And these are stories, but they've been brought down into story highlights, and then they will live there indefinitely. And this is a nice opportunity to tell a story about your salon in little chunk size bites. So I often say to people, the first story should be just labeled salon, and it's a little story that is about your salon. Then the next one might be about staff, and then the next one might be about a product and another service. So you're picking, it could be up to 8 to 10 story highlights that sit there permanently, and people can just pop in and out and just sort of have a look at the key things that you want to get across. So that's, and it also makes your profile look a little bit more interesting if you've got stories there as well. And you can create, what do you call them, little cover images, little thumbnail images, so that it looks nice and consistent and branded, as opposed to picking up the cover of the story. So that story highlights. Something else that you can use is called Instagram Reels. And Instagram Reels are very short, sharp, little bite-sized chunks of information. So they are 15 to 30-second videos, and they sit on a tab inside Instagram. So you may have seen Reels. If you go to Reels, people will go there and they'll just see these little short, sharp videos. And it's really good for doing a little series of skincare tips or just getting little quick bits of information out. So that's a format that's quite popular. The other one is Instagram TV. So that's where you can start to create videos that are a minute and longer. So you've got something more to say. And it could be about anything. You could be showcasing a product. You could be showcasing a treatment. You could be introducing a new staff member. You might just have an announcement to make. And again, Instagram TV videos sit on a tab. So people can go there and just click on IGTV, it's called, and have a look at all of your videos. When you post a video, it does go into the main post feed, so onto your grid. So I got caught out on that when I first started doing videos. All of a sudden, they appeared on the main feed, and I didn't realize.
I think you can choose to add it to your feed or not.
Yeah, you can now. Yeah,
I know
you can.
we prefer to, but yeah, and I think it also does depend if you're using your mobile versus desktop to upload it as well. I think there's lots of different. So I think maybe you can get caught out on mobile. I think that might have happened to me.
Yeah, that's right. And I actually find doing IGTV a lot easier on desktop than it is on mobile, because then you've then got the opportunity of creating a little cover image. So if you want to keep with your theme, you put the cover image. It's like a thumbnail image, and then it links through to the video. So that's good. That's a good opportunity if you've got information that you want to get across to people. Then you've got Instagram Lives, just like we are doing now on Facebook. And then something new that's come out is called Instagram Guides. And so I have Instagram Guides has appeared on my Instagram profile, which tells me that it's actually now been rolled out to New Zealand. So people may or may not have it on their profiles at the moment. But basically, it's a series of posts, and you can put commentary over the top. So it's really, really good if you want to teach someone something, and it's almost like a PowerPoint presentation, but done through the posts that you put on Instagram. So so that's a new feature. So that's something that I've just started playing around with. So those are, 7 different ways that you can convey information to your followers through Instagram. Have a bit of fun with it, because Instagram is a fun platform, and there's cool features that you can play around with, and it's really just what resonates with your followers and what doesn't. So use those formats to your advantage.
I was just going to say, you may need to actually choose which format's best, because otherwise, again, it can become quite overwhelming, like how many, platforms there are to choose from. But just, I guess, giving things a go, seeing what kind of content you want to put out, and therefore what post is best for that, or what's resonating with your clients, and leave it at that rather than try to do them all.
Yeah, and you don't need to do them all. I often say to people, just pick one and figure that one out, do it really well, pick another one. Video is not for everybody, so fewer is better, and do fewer well than trying to do all of them and do them not so well. So yeah,
for sure. Cool. And then tip number 6, your last one.
Yes, my last one, and we could probably do a whole Facebook Live on this one, but this is the hashtag strategy. And I get asked a lot about the hashtag strategy, and it's not that difficult, but it can take a little bit of time and research. So basically, a hashtag is your way of being discovered by people. So whatever you put into your post as a hashtag goes over to a page that's dedicated to that hashtag. So any post by anybody anywhere on Instagram who uses that hashtag, their post goes onto that hashtag page, which almost becomes just a directory. So hopefully people are then sort of exploring around on Instagram, and they find you and they like your post, on that page, so then they come over to your Instagram profile and hopefully start following you. So that's kind of the theory behind the hashtag. So there's kind of different types. There's 3 types of hashtags, really. You have what's called a branded hashtag. So that could just be hashtag and then the name of your salon. That's good, nothing wrong with that. Just keep using that repetitively. You'll find that if you go to the page, hashtag the name of your salon, as long as no one else is using that, you'll actually pretty much own that page. So that's quite nice, and people can find you that way. If you're running quite a big campaign, you can develop a campaign hashtag. So it could be hashtag love your skin or hashtag beautiful hands and feet get noticed or something like that. So you could use that hashtag not just on Instagram, but in Facebook posts and in blogs and anywhere that you're promoting that campaign to get people across to your Instagram profile. So those are the first 2 types. And then there's what's called community hashtags. So community hashtags, quite a big, sort of like 9 community hashtag categories, if you like. And a community meaning people who have a common interest come together. And so it could be a product or a service. So all the coffee lovers, if you want to reach all the coffee lovers, you'd go hashtag coffee. So that's a product or service hashtag. If there's a niche in your industry, for us, example, it could be hair removal. So you might have the hashtag hair removal. If there's a special event, it could be hashtag Valentine's Day, hashtag Mother's Day. You could use location-based, which I think is really good for salons because we are really only targeting a particular area. So it could be hashtag Wellington. If you're trying to engage with women in Wellington, it could be hashtag Wellington Women in Business. So it's just starting to sort of think through who you're trying to target. Think of a hashtag, go and see if it's being used. Often you'll see when you're using a hashtag, it'll bring up the number of posts that have been posted with that. And it's often easy to think, oh, it's a really popular one, I better use that hashtag. There's been 5 million posts with that hashtag. That's not necessarily a good strategy because that means when your post goes onto that directory, you could very quickly get lost. Whereas if you start to find hashtags that are not so popular, meaning haven't been used as much, you actually may discover new audiences and have a better chance of them finding you. So there's a little bit of, research that you can do into it. And in terms of number of hashtags, you often see posts with up to 30 hashtags, and it's like a few lines of text and then all these hashtags, and that can be a little bit off-putting to people. On a post you can have up to 30 hashtags. On a story you can have up to 10. It's generally accepted that in a post you would use no more than 10, and sometimes fewer than 10 is better. And I think it's actually easier when you're starting out to sort of go, okay, that post did really well, and these are the hashtags I used. Easier to kind of understand where you were more successful than if you had 30 there. And unless you've got a social analytics tool that you're using, it's really difficult to know what hashtag is working and what isn't. So it's really worth doing a little bit of research into hashtags. Maybe just pick 10, stick with those 10, but mix them up a bit and maybe use 5 for this post and 5 for that post, so you're not just using the same ones over and over again.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Kirsten. That was there's so many tips within the 6 tips. Such a good starting point for people, especially if they're really wanting to look at how can I improve, and just kind of picking out one of those tips and going for it. So that's been such an awesome session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. And thank you to everyone for watching. We really, really hope that you enjoyed this digital marketing Facebook Live today. Like I said, we will be back with doing a digital marketing Facebook Lives every month. So do look out for that next topic, and we hope to see you next time. See ya.
Bye.